What is going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this box, I have the brand new Tekela V4 Plus, which I'm very excited to explore today. So you get a red New Balance box, very standard across the New Balance brand in whatever sport you're playing with the New Balance products. You've got the NB logo there on the top, your New Balance logo on the long side, New Balance, both the NB and the New Balance logo there, blank on the other long side, and then here's your sizing. The weird thing is they don't actually say, well, so you have this little code, which I believe is how you distinguish which kind of product it is, like which boot it is. But these are in a 9.5 US, a 9 UK, Euro 43, and I believe a 27 or 27.5 centimeters. One of the things that makes New Balance a little bit weird is that I actually go half a size up for both of their products, the Furon and the Tekela. I find that they fit just much better straight out of the box and they break in perfectly. I actually, down here, have, which I'll bring out in just a minute, I have another pair of Tekelas that are in great condition and I love them, and they're in a 9.5. I've enjoyed wearing them a ton. So here we go with the unboxing of these new Tekela V4 Pluses. We'll go over tech specs. Nice. I like this colorway. I think this is cool. In hand, they feel very similar, aside from aside from some minor cosmetic changes and a little bit of material change, which we'll talk about as well. But let's get these out of the box first. There's your other side as well. Similar to most New Balance products, or all New Balance products, no string bag, unfortunately, so we'll get that out of the way. And then we'll throw this guy right there, and we'll get into a little bit of the fit and finish. I'm gonna take the paper out as well and give you guys, look how soft this upper is. Unbelievably soft, look at that. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So a couple design changes, big N logo here, and then you get several textured grip areas now along the course of the upper. So they've changed the hypoknit just slightly. It still is a full hypoknit upper, but now you have little textured elements built into the hypoknit here on the tongue area, and then you've got some texturing there on the lateral side as well as the medial side. The texturing pattern is the same on the lateral and medial side, but just gives it a little bit of raised texturing along. You can kind of hear it. Here, I'll do this. Right? So a little bit of texturing pattern there, and then they've got an interesting, it almost looks like a running shoe mesh here, kind of that pattern in the forefoot, which actually gives it, again, sound test. So that's the front, and then that's the texture on the midfoot and the lateral side. So as I said, fully hypoknit upper. You've got the 3D molded fuel cell insert for comfort, basically, which is their version of like a Solite insole from Asics or anything else. It's basically just their version that they use in running shoes and stuff of the insole, which is fantastic there. And then I'm gonna throw this back in. And you've got the lightweight nylon outsole with the conical studs. And then, as we spoke about in a couple different videos now, which I think is really, really cool, you've got this really awesome sole plate action. I'm gonna flip that over, actually. I'm just making a mess over here. So this, I don't know why, this bloody thing, I don't know why that's so complicated. Okay. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this thing in there, but for whatever reason, it's catching on something in the front of the boot. There we go. Yeah, that works. Okay, beautiful. So this is the nylon outsole. So you've got the conical studs here in the forefoot and basically conical in the rear of the boot as well. They're more square than they are conical, but they're gonna act the same essentially. And then you've got these TPU rim studs that are all bladed around the outside. Now, I found that these two studs down here are a little bit, they're kind of whatever. I've heard some people have them actually snap off, which is fair enough, and it's not really gonna affect performance because they are extra, I guess, if you will. If this boot didn't have those rim studs, they would still perform just fine. But I do actually find these rim studs to be exceptional as far as lateral stability and movement goes. They do a really nice job of giving you an awesome amount of, when you get into the ground, your pivot ability for when you kind of step and then move in an opposite direction, unbelievable. They feel very, very good. So it's the same sole plate. So I feel like in the unboxing review, I can kind of talk about that stuff. In the play test of these, we'll really kind of harp on that, and I'll show you some, we'll actually do some footage of some cutting and ladder drills and stuff. This is one of the coolest sole plates, and they actually get those rim studs from Lacrosse, which is mostly played in America, I believe. If there's other countries that play lacrosse like for a larger group of people, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm not aware of any, but yeah. So they found that sport had the most lateral cutting, and then they applied that technology to football boots in a way that was a little bit less aggressive than on the lacrosse cleat, these obviously being a football boot. So really nice exposed lacing system area here. This Hypoknit is just unbelievably soft. It really is one of the most incredible uppers on feet. These boots just fit really, really well. At least the first generation. They didn't really change. They changed this shape maybe super ever so slightly. But this boot is just absolutely fantastic. This was my runner-up to the GX1 last year for 2023 boot of the year. And for those of you who kind of argue that, well, the GX sort of released a little bit in 2022, then this would be number one. So I don't really care either way. GX came out in January, so for me that was my 2023 boot of the year, January 23. These came out in that year as well, and I just do think that, or the previous generation did, and I just do think that this boot is a fantastic option for most people, and they come in a wide fit variation, which is something that no other bloody boot company does, which is really annoying as well. These come in at 201 grams, which is about 7.1 ounces, so by no means a heavy boot, but also by no means a super lightweight boot as well. The lightest speed boots on the market are right around that 6.2 ounce mark. Anything below right around or below 7 ounces is pretty lightweight. You're really not going to notice much of a difference between something like this and even a Vapor. Like for me, when you're really getting into it and you're really playing, sure, a Vapor feels nice because it's got the bubble underneath your foot and stuff, that air zoom, but for me, this is by far just an objectively more comfortable boot for most foot shapes, I think. So without further ado, let's jump into the on-feet portion of the video. We'll talk about any changes that they've made to this boot that you can actually feel on feet, and then of course we'll do a play test later, but I really want to talk in that video about size, or in the later part of this video about sizing and why I went with a 9.5. Let me actually grab that other version as well. So there is still a bunch of here you go. So this is that midnight kind of lunar eclipse colorway. There's still a bunch of grass on it because I played with them really recently. But there's the difference between the texturing on either side. And then you've got texturing differences on the middle, and then of course on the forefoot just a little bit different. So very, very nice. Both of them are fantastic. I just think they updated it very ever so slightly on this newer generation just to give a little bit more premium quality. It definitely feels more premium through the exposed Hypoknit as opposed to this one. I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference really, but I'm really, really excited to try them on. So without further ado, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video. All right, fam, out here in the backyard with the Tekela V4 Plus. Now, the Tekela V4, just the normal model, or the first gen, I guess, of the V4, is one of my favorite boots on the market, and I gotta say, the subtle improvements they've made to this, including the softness of the upper, some of the texture patterns and everything, I think are gonna make for a pretty strong competitor for boot of the year for 2024. There you go. Nice design, dark blue with the kind of sky blue and then the orange accents. Very, very nice. I imagine, keep in mind, 9.5. 9.5, 9.5. I'll say that again. Half a size up for all the New Balance boots other than the 442. 442 fits my foot perfectly in a 9. And here we go. Oh my Lord. New Balance, what have you done? What have you done? This is like an Oh My Days rating. I reckon the Tekela V4 Plus is an Oh My Days rating of like 11 out of 10. These are some of the most comfortable. These are dumb comfy. What have they done here? This is wizardry. Okay, so really quick on a sizing note. So I'm going to turn this way so you guys can see. Okay, so first of all, unbelievably soft. Second of all, I've got about
just a tiny bit of space there on the forefoot. That breaks in. My toes are able to kind of stretch out to the front, and there ends up being very little space. But I'm okay with that little bit of space on the end, like super, super small, because the width fits perfectly. And that's where I really get the right sizing. You know, the size on the forefoot feels good, the width feels good, and go from there. So here's, hopping around. Here we go. So now we'll get into the right foot. And as I said, literally 11 out of 10. Like these are unbelievably comfortable straight out of the box. I don't understand how they've done the hypo knit like this. Yeah, wow. It feels like the best hug around your foot you could possibly ask for. Like it feels like it's wrapping your foot and it's hugging your foot without being too tight, which is insane. I don't know how they've like improved on a boot that was already so comfortable straight out of the box. Sole plate with those rim studs, those TPU rim studs, feels super grounded. So it doesn't feel, there's not a whole lot of rock to them. Like maybe there's a little bit of rock there, but there's not a lot of rock, which I actually prefer. I like something a little flatter for the most part, just because, especially when you get a ball involved, like when you're putting your foot on the top of the ball and rolling it around, it just feels a little more balanced, at least to me. And again, this is just a personal preference. But I gotta say, the combination of how balanced the sole plate feels, look at the upper, look at that. As I'm wiggling my toes, that's insane. They're so comfortable. Yeah, like these literally feel like slippers. They feel like the most kind of comfortable like knit slippers that you would put on your feet. So there you go. There's a full look at the New Balance Tekela V4 Plus. They look kind of cool. They're a little bit clashy with the light blues of my kit, but I don't care because they're a really comfortable pair of football boots. And I don't understand. You have to try these on. If you are on the market for a football boot and you're a little bit of a wider foot type, honestly, or you're even a thinner foot type, I know thinner feet fit in this one as well, go half a size up. The fit is perfect. Like they have nailed the shape with these. I don't, like, it's unbelievable. Like these fit better, these fit marginally better than the first generation, the V4, and I don't understand how they've done that. Because they don't look, like if you look at them side by side, they don't really look all that different, but man, comfy, comfy, comfy. Touch on the ball is great. This hypo knit upper is fantastic. Feels very, I wouldn't say it's barefoot, but it's got a little bit of that padding. So it feels very natural, very kind of Magista Obra 1, if you will. It's less padded than like Magista Obra 2, but Magista Obra 1 for sure. The hypo knit, they've done absolutely crazy things to this because these are super nice and comfortable. I imagine lateral stability is going to be great as well because they don't have a whole lot of elements in the width that actually on the lateral sides and the medial side and the midfoot that give it sort of extra lockdown. There are moments in a game and stuff where I feel a little bit of rollover within the boot. That can be moderated with grip socks. That can be moderated with kind of getting your socks a little bit wet if you don't have grip socks, and that way it sort of sticks in the upper, or sticks inside, your feet stick inside the boot, which is a nice touch as well. But overall, honestly, this product is absolutely fantastic. It is unbelievably fantastic. And there is a reason why it was so hard for me to decide between the V4 and the GX in my top 5 boots of 2023. I will imagine that these will be at the top, if not the top, of 2024's boot review or top 5 boots in 12 months or whatever, 11 months now. Because these are genuinely, like, I have zero hot spots, totally comfortable, could jump into a game right now if I wanted to. Like, I'm blown away by these, honestly. And yeah, go half size up because they fit better. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about these. I will get more into the texture of the upper, which I guess you can kind of feel by doing things like this and manipulating the ball. But most likely those texture patterns on the upper, where you see them on the lateral side, the medial side, and then of course the little bit of changes they've made to the toe box area, it's a little bit more textured there. I will hopefully give you guys a good idea of what those textured elements feel like on feet during the playtest video, which will be coming out in the next week or 2 or 3 maybe, depending on the volume of content that I've got to shoot. So that will be
kind of where I can answer more questions on the performance enhancements that they've made with these subtle changes. But other than that, if there's anything that I missed that you guys are interested in knowing, leave it in the comment section down below and I'll get to your question as soon as I possibly can. If you got value from this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, join the fam. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.